Hey guys, how's it going? Eminem Gaming here, and today we're back with another video. And today we're going to be talking about PS1 slash PS2 games that I'd love to see remade, remastered, brought back, new game in the franchise, whatever it may be, on the PS4. Two things I want to say, obviously, before we get into this. Is I will be also using games that may have had a PS3 version, whether it be remastered or, you know, ported or whatever. Also games that are on PS2 emulation. If there's one in this, I don't really count that because, again, it's not a new game. It's emulated, ported, whatever you want to say. And there's also 3 games I will not be mentioning, but I need to give a shout out to because they're some of my favourite games of all time. First being Ratchet and Clank. Obviously, we've just had Ratchet and Clank remade from the ground up for the PlayStation 4. The game was a goddamn masterpiece. I loved it to pieces. Still to this day, my second favourite game this generation, behind Uncharted. So yeah, absolutely, Ratchet and Clank masterpiece. Crash Bandicoot, you know I'm a huge Crash fan. The only thing being is that we know from E3, I'm so happy to say, the game is coming back. Whether it be next year, 2 years from now, I really couldn't care less. I just need Crash Bandicoot back on the PS4. And the final game being Final Fantasy VII, PS1 classic, one of the, you know, some people's favourite game of all time. You know, so that has to have a shout out as well. But the second thing I wanted to get into before I get into my list is I want to give a big shout out to the guy who asked me this question, Valetsu. If you've been on this channel for a while, you've probably heard of him. But if you haven't, go check him out on Twitter. Go check him out on YouTube. Awesome guy. Yeah, and just give him some support, all that good stuff. Now, in 5th place, we're going to start off this list with Parappa the Rapper. Now, some of you might be thinking, what the hell are you doing putting this on a game you'd love to see back, you know, one of your favourite games? I don't know what it is about Parappa the Rapper, but more Parappa the Rapper 1 than Parappa the Rapper 2, because the second one wasn't very good at all. It was okay. It's on PS2 emulation on the PS4 if you want to try it, but to me personally, it's not the be-all and end-all of, like, oh my god, greatest games of all time. But I absolutely loved the first one. It was hilarious. It was funny. I just loved it to pieces. I don't know how you'd possibly make this back, you know. Is it a little bit outdated? Probably. Would the new age sort of gamers like it as much? Probably not. But to me, I love Parappa the Rapper, and if we could get it somehow back on the PS4, that would make my day. Now, there's an idea I have about it which would be goddamn amazing. In my mind, I'm thinking it would be amazing. Whether actually it would be is a different, you know, scenario indeed. But that is Parappa the Rapper VR. Do I sound crazy? Probably. But imagine that game in VR. It's already wacky. It's already crazy and over the top. Surely VR is the perfect game for it. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that's what I'd love to see. So in number 5, Parappa the Rapper. And Sony, I know it's, you know, it may only be a digital title or whatever, but please make a new Parappa the Rapper game. So in number 4, we're going to Rockstar and Bully. Now, I just purchased this again for the PS4 through PS2 emulation. I had it on the PS3 and the PS2. The game is amazing. I love it. It's funny. You know, you can... It's just like, reminds me of high school and stuff, like, you know, secondary school, whatever you want to call it. Like, for me, it just reminds me of that, you know, the times, you know, you got like the different people at school, you know, you got, you know, the jocks, you know, the sporty guys, you know. It's just really, really awesome, but it's over the top as Rockstar always do. They always make the games hilarious, and this is no exception. For me, I still to this day cannot understand why we've never got a Bully 2. I know it was set in this like high school, and and I guess it'd be hard to make a second one, whatever. But like, I'd just love to see it come back. Like, Bully is such a good IP. A little bit underrated. Did it sell well? I'm not too sure. I assume it did, but I'm not too sure. And obviously, Rockstar have got games like Red Dead, GTA that they're also working on, so I could understand why they wouldn't really want to, when it may not be the cash maker GTA is or Red Dead would be. But still, I think some team needs to work on Bully 2, or even a remake it from the ground up. I don't know, but what would you like to see, guys? Do you agree? Do you think we should get Bully, a new Bully game, on the PlayStation 4? In number 3, this is a difficult one, because again, I'm going to admit this now, I am completely biased to this genre. It's my favourite genre, we don't get it enough, but that is 3D sort of platformers. But in number 3, I've got to put Jak and Daxter. Now, an interesting thing about Jak and Daxter with me personally is that, for me, I thought Jak and Daxter was amazing, obviously, but out of like Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Crash, all those sort of games, it was my least favourite. Still amazing, still loved it, but it was my least favourite, apart from the first Jak and Daxter game. Now, usually I like the second one, I like the evolution of the games, all that sort of stuff. Uncharted 3, you know what I'm saying, Uncharted 4 is my favourite Uncharted game, all those, usually the later games I enjoy more if they improve upon the formula. But to me, Jak and Daxter, the first one, was the best Jak and Daxter game, and I think if they could remake that, do the Ratchet and Clank treatment. Now, I'm probably going to say there's a lot in this video, but Ratchet and Clank was done so goddamn well. If you literally did that with the first Jak and Daxter game, I don't care if it's $20, $30, $60, whatever the price, full price, whatever, I'd buy it day one without hesitation. The game's amazing, and I'd love to see that brought back, remade for the PS4. Other things I'd like to see is maybe a remastered collection. I mean, it wouldn't be as good as a remake of the first one, but I'd take a remastered collection. But we just need Jak and Daxter on the PS4. We're probably not going to get Jak 4, at least not by Naughty Dog. We know this, people are saying, oh, they could do it. They're not going to do it. When you've got games like The Last of Us, Uncharted, this new space IP, they're really moving forward. And again, like I said, I'm hugely biased towards these genres. But even I know that going from The Last of Us and Uncharted 4 to Jak and Daxter 4 would be a huge step down. But there's no reason why like a Sanzuru Games, a Japan studio, couldn't possibly do it. But yeah, either way, rambling aside, Jak and Daxter, Sony, make it happen somehow. But in number 2, like I said, I did mention it a little bit earlier, my second favourite in this sort of genre, Sly Cooper. Now, Sly Cooper does not get the love he deserves, because I am telling you guys, I don't understand why the PlayStation community doesn't love him more. Like, I really don't. Like, Ratchet and Clank obviously is my favourite, but Sly Cooper is basically a furry Nathan Drake. If you think about it, he steals stuff, he's got a gang with him who help him through his adventures, he's funny, he's wisecrack, he's basically Nathan Drake, do you know what I mean, without a goddamn machine gun or whatever. Sly Cooper is amazing. Sly Cooper 3 is my favourite Sly Cooper game, but I would love, again, a remastered collection on the PS4. I'd even take PS2 emulation, to be honest with you, but I'd rather have it remastered for the PS4, the trilogy, or even put all 4 games together and put it on the PS4. That would be superb, because again, Sanzuru Games made an absolute amazing Sly Cooper game in Sly Cooper 4. that didn't really get the love it deserved, because again, it wasn't made by its original devs, which, you know, obviously can happen sometimes, you know. But basically, yeah, I think it should come back, and I feel that, you know, it doesn't get the love it deserves from the PlayStation community. So you know, it'd be nice to see that, and I think it'd do well, especially again on the back of Ratchet and Clank success. And I'm sure Crash Bandicoot Remastered has had a ton of pre-orders. I could be wrong about that, but I assume I'm right. So that'd be awesome to see come back. Now, in first place, I have to put SOCOM. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to put this out there. I'm not a huge SOCOM fan. I'm not going to front and lie on this channel and pretend I'm the biggest SOCOM fan ever. But this has to be in #1 spot, simply because everybody pretty much, or at least everyone I know of, like the hardcore PlayStation fans, they want this game back. They want this franchise back. Me personally, I'm not too bothered either way, but SOCOM has to come back, because there is a few things, I think one thing missing from the PlayStation brand. You know me, I try and be as honest as possible. So the one thing I think's really missing from the PlayStation sort of brand, they've got these great single player games, they've got these great Japanese games, they've got a ton of variety. That's why I am a PlayStation fan or whatever, but they need more sort of hardcore, intense sort of shooters, you know what I'm saying, like and I think SOCOM could do that. I think Sony wants to bring it back. Now, some people say like, oh, SOCOM 4 didn't sell well, but SOCOM will sell multi-millions if you make a good SOCOM game. SOCOM 4 wasn't a good SOCOM game, so why are you expecting it to sell well? I think, you know, you look at Into the Nexus, Ratchet and Clank, that sold less than SOCOM, and we got a Ratchet and Clank remake. So I don't think that's the reason. Personally, again, I could be wrong, but I don't think that's the reason. On the PS2 days, the game had more people online than the whole of Xbox Live. Let that sink in. One game had more. Now, again, it was 155 million install base, so we have to take that into consideration. But I still think SOCOM should live on. I think it's got its hardcore fan base that are going to buy the game regardless. What I'd love to see from SOCOM, and again, let me know if you're a SOCOM fan. Let me know down below. What would you like to see? But for me, I wouldn't just like the PS2 emulation games. I think, again, there's still people who play the PS2 game. Like they have it on the PC. They got all these weird like emulated game. I don't even know how it works, I'm gonna be honest, but they're still playing it to this day. So for me personally, what I'd like to see is the game completely rebooted. Take what was great about SOCOM 1, SOCOM 2, story wise, make it a long story, but take what people loved about the multiplayer, make it beautiful, okay, keep it hardcore, keep it like, you know, what the SOCOM fans loved. You know, if that means keeping the game basic and not flying all over the goddamn place and swinging like you do Uncharted, who cares? Give the fans what they want, reboot the franchise. And I think, if you ask me, the only developer I know that Sony could possibly work with is Guerrilla Games. Like, I don't know who else they have who could possibly make a good SOCOM game. They shut down Zipper. I assume they're not going to give it to a third-party dev. I don't know many second-party devs who could make a good SOCOM game. So really, I think if you gave that to Guerrilla with their big team, I think they'd make a very, very good one, as long as they kept it rooted within its, obviously, what made it great. But again, this is just one guy's opinion. Let me know down below or on Twitter, wherever you want to let me know. What game would you love to see back from the PS2 or PS1 days? What would you love to see back? And is it a case of like, is there any PS3 games you'd like to see back? Obviously, that's not what the video's about, but for me, I'm over the moon. God of War's back, all that good stuff. So yeah, let me know down below, guys, what you think. But as always, this has been M&M Gaming, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in a new video very soon.